So today I wanted to do a YouTube on just a simple project that you can do with one of your kids. Carson, I want to connect with him today, and this project came to my mind. I said, you know what? I should share this. This is a really simple woodworking project that any father could pick up and do with just a couple simple hand tools, some glue, some screws, and you can make a great memory with your child. I hope it's a blessing, and I hope it encourages you to connect with your children. So today we are building a Bluebird house. We've been wanting to do this for a long time because we have a lot of bluebirds here. And Carson and I always have loved birds. We love bird watching, trying to identify new birds. And so we're excited about building these finally. We started on one today and we decided that we were going to show you guys how to build a really simple birdhouse with one piece of wood. One piece of wood that you could pick up pretty much anywhere. So you want to get this project rolling? All right, bud, let's do this. So we're going to start with something that may look a little familiar to you. Hold that in, Carson. This is a 6-foot dog-eared picket, and you can pick these up for about just a couple bucks. And this one is a cedar one, not pressure treated, but you can get them pressure treated and it would work just as well. The width of them vary just a little bit, but they're usually about 5 inches and something. This one's about 5 7/16, and the length is, like I said, 6 feet long, and it's about ½ an inch wide. So let's start with the first thing. We're going to start with a cut list, and we want to show you guys how easy this is, because we're actually going to make it a little harder for ourselves, because we're going to use mostly tools that any dad would have in the garage. Little tiny handsaw, a drill. I'm going to avoid using a lot of my power tools that I normally could use just to whip this out, but we're going to try to make it really simple and something that anybody can knock out. So our first cut, Carson, grab me that speed square. Grab me that speed square. That's the saw. This is the saw. This is a speed square right here. This guy right here. Yeah, there you go. So you make sure it's squared up down there. We're gonna do the hard piece first. We're gonna do an angled side piece. This is gonna be one of the hardest pieces, but if you get a good cut, you won't have to do it twice. You just have to do one angle cut, and that's it. 12 inches, you mark it on one side. On the other side, we're gonna mark 14 inches right here on the very tip here. Let's get it on this side. If you have a saw, you can use a saw. It's a 20-degree angle on like a compound miter saw or something like that. We're gonna draw a straight line between these two marks here, okay? Daddy's gonna do this part because it's a little bit of a workout. I need a workout anyways. So we got an extra little board right here. We're gonna try to do a straight cut right here. This is just a little tiny saw you can pick up anywhere, and like I said, I don't have actually a bigger handsaw. Just follow the line. In there. There we go. All right. So we got that piece. I'm just gonna flip this around. We're gonna cheat. I already got my other angle for the other side, so I don't have to cut the angle twice. We're just gonna draw a straight line on the back. We can make sure that it's square here. Looks good. So now we're gonna cut our other side. So we got side one done, right, Carson? I'm gonna get my workout here today. Here, you want to hold this end on this side, Carson? Yeah, come around on that side. And just push down on it. Just push down on it. Yeah. Give me some weight there. Perfect. That's what I needed. There we go. All right. We got our two sides here. So now, because we got a square cut here, we can cut right off of this guy. Let's do the back. The back is going to be a square cut. That's about, I don't know, anywhere from, we're gonna do 15.5 inches, 15.5 inches long, okay? I'm gonna spin it and you can hold that side down, okay? Just don't knock your drink over. Okay, ready? Okay, that's our back. Now what do we need? If we have a back, we need a front. You got it. So that one was 15.5 inches. The next one's gonna be 12.5 inches. Square to square. And we're coming down to the end of our piece, our 6-foot piece here. Okay. You hang on to that like that. Yeah. I'm gonna scoot this down just a little bit. Oh, perfect. We've got our front now, so we have 2 sides, front, back. Now all we need is the bottom and the top, right? So the bottom of it is just gonna be 4 1/4 inches long. It's still the width of this guy, so you don't have to cut it any other way, just 4 1/4. Yeah, you got the idea. You see how it's coming together? Okay, bottom. And the top, it's gonna be 7.5 inches long. There's our top. We'll have to modify the top here in just a little bit, but we can at least get started putting it together. Okay, so like I said, we're trying to make this something that anybody can do. So far we've used a saw, tape measure, and a pencil. You can even use a ruler because none of these measurements are super long. So, and we've got all of our pieces pretty much cut out. We'll have to modify one of them in just a minute. So we're gonna use something else that's really common. Drywall screws, 1 1/4 drywall screws. That's with the main fastener that we're gonna use for this entire thing. I have a couple longer ones, about a 2 inch, which I just need 2 of those. So if you have a little bit longer ones, you can use those for the hinge. We're also gonna use another common thing, and that's glue. This is wood glue, but you could use an Elmer's glue if you had it. Let's start with the back. Set that over there. So we need the longest piece here. I'm gonna set it flat on a surface. All right, and let's set a side on one side and hand me that other side. This is how it's gonna look. You can set it flat on the surface here, okay? And these ends are flush down here. So you can see all these ends are in a line right down here on this back side. It's all flush. So now I'm gonna lay it out like this. Gonna add a little bead of glue on this side. This stuff is usually washable with a wet rag. So if you have a rag handy, that helps too. Just gonna roll it into itself, like that. Okay. All right, now Carson, let's see here. Let's do the impact. I'm gonna start the first one, and might do the second one, and then I'll let you do the middle one, okay? You wanna make sure it's lined up. You're gonna stand it up on edge. Carson, if you want to hold that piece right there. This is where a second set of hands helps a lot. So he's holding that perfectly still. Yep, he's watching, make sure we line it up here on the end. So I'm gonna set my screw on the end here. Push it just a little bit that way. Yeah, right there. Perfect. Yeah, that's good. So we're gonna line that up right there. We're gonna pull this top end just a little bit. That looks pretty good. Wipe it on my pants. You can just barely bury that screw. Perfect. There you go. There you go. Perfect. All right, we got one side on there. Let's throw another side on. All right, there we go. We got our sides and our back together. So now, let's put the bottom. Good idea. Make sure it fits. Make sure I got my measurement right. So it should sit all the way flush with the back here and the bottom, and then be recessed a little bit for a 1/2 inch, because that front is actually going to be a lid. It's going to hinge. So the front panel is actually going to hinge. which you don't have to do it that way, but if you want to clean out the box every once in a while, not a bad idea, and that's the way to do it. Perfect. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's do it this way, Carson. So your front panel, you're gonna line up with the top right here. Where this point comes to a point, you're gonna line up the top of that board, and it should set in nice and snug, okay? It's pretty snug, all right? So then this will line up about right there, and you just let it, the tension of the wood actually should hold it in. This is a lip that holds down on the bottom, and that's what you're gonna grab and lift out, and it'll hinge on 2 screws that we're gonna set on the side. And how I figure out where I'm putting my screws is I'm gonna measure up from the bottom, right here on the side, 8 inches on this side, and 8 inches on that side. Then I'm gonna do my 2 long screws, and each of them are gonna go in the side here on both sides, and that is what's gonna hinge the front. So I've got that one in there. I go in a little tight, and I'm gonna back it off just a little bit, because I want it to hinge. You know, I don't want to, if you pull it in really tight, it's gonna be a little bit of a bear to open it. So, all right, I'm gonna test it out, see if it'll hinge. You hold this side, you lift up on the bottom. Is it nice and snug? Yeah. See? Do it a couple times. So the bottom on this right here is a little snug. That was your finger. It's like, man, that's very snug. Okay. But you could take a little sandpaper and sand down the edge if it's too tight. But this one is, I like it like this because I like it to be nice and firm. Then I'm gonna have a safety screw. This is what you take out whenever you want to clean out the box. So I'm gonna put one in the middle. So that way, little baby bird can fall out. Nice and tight. So this is the only thing I'll have to unscrew. You could do a latch, but I'd rather have a screw than a latch, I think. And I think it's gonna work great. So now what do we have left? I don't even know.
The top.
We need the roof. Yes, we need the shed roof, which is a 7.5-inch piece that we had. Now this is the one I said, yeah, that's our leftover piece, and I got a special thing for that in just a second. All right, here, Carson. So this one, I say we might have to cut on a little bit more because this is an angled box. So if you just stick a flat piece, square piece up against it, there's a gap right here. We want to tighten up that gap. This lid is going to get screwed on the top, but it needs to get actually cut like an angle. So there's 2 ways you can do it. You can try to take a saw and knock off at an angle this edge, or you can take a knife and do a little whittling. Usually everybody's got a utility knife or a pocket knife. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take it at just a little bit of an angle and just go with the grain. All right, Carson, let's see if this fits. How's that look? Yeah, I'm liking it. Pretty good. You like it? Okay. So now, this is kind of high, so I'm just going to screw this top off real quick, okay? Then, we've got, wait a second, do we have any more wood left?
Yeah.
We got 1 piece, and I've got a little special thing for that. So now, put that back down. Now, how's this bird going to get in there?
Needs a hole.
We got to put a hole in there. Now, I have this fancy little bit right here. This is 1.5 inches. You want 1.5 inches hole for if you're going for a bluebird. If it's any larger, it encourages other birds, especially birds that are not native, like the European starling or something like that, that kind of drives them away. So if you're going for bluebirds, you want 1.5 inches. We don't put a perch on it because other birds like that, and the bluebird doesn't mind not having a perch. So, but I've got 1 more piece here. Another way to deter other birds from getting in this box and just exclusively, or almost exclusively, keep it to a bluebird is to make it thicker. So we're only using 1/2-inch material, so if we add a face on it right here, like this, there we go. We can add something to it. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna add a little bit of thickness to this front piece right here. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and dog ear it just like this is. This is the top of the picket. So we're going to match that just at an angle, just for aesthetic value. You don't have to do this. Does that look about right? See how I'm going to match it? We're going to match the angle there just for fun, because we like doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm just eyeballing it. Don't have to get close. Do you want to try to cut these? What do you think? I'm gonna hold the piece. You hold this with your left hand and follow that line, okay? Back and forth, all right? Go. There you go, bud. Yeah, don't want that little piece here. Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna do one little tricky cut right down the side here because I don't want it to interfere with the friction of the door opening and closing. So we're just gonna take about just a slice off this guy. Now you can, some people say you shouldn't paint the box, so you can do some sort of a sealer on the outside, or if you wanted to do a paint, yeah, this just this is not the one you did. Okay, Carson, what do you think? So now that's clear both sides, right? So now the placement of the hole in the front is actually important. So they say anywhere from 5 to 8 inches from the bottom. So Carson, we're gonna do it at 7 inches. So we're gonna put this about right here. So let's put some glue on this. I didn't put any glue on the roof, so we can actually go back and put glue on the roof if we want. We're gonna put glue on the front here. And I'm gonna go in with these screws. This is 1¼ inch screws. I think I've got some inch screws, but you can always knock off the tops right here. So I got inch screws right here. So we're gonna use some inch screws so we don't go all the way through the wood. But you can always take a little pair of pliers and you can just nip the tips off. Because this wood's gonna be soft enough, it won't interfere. So let's go right there. How about that? Okay, so now Carson, we're gonna go where? 7 inches from the bottom to the middle. So that's about right there. So I'm gonna draw the center of this hole right there. Now I have this bit. We're not gonna use this bit. You know what we're gonna do? Most people have a drill and most people have a little drill bit. They don't have these. So we're gonna do it. There's a little trick that we're gonna do. But I'm gonna use this as a little guide to tell me how big my hole should be. So I'm gonna mark this at 1.5 inches. So you can find an object in your house, you get a little compass, whatever, mark it at 1.5 inches. And what we're gonna do is, we're gonna take a drill bit, and we're just gonna, this is an 1/8 inch drill bit, stay on the inside of the line, up and down, all the way through. Kind of wiggle your bit back and forth. And take out some more material. The more material you take out, the weaker it'll become. Do an angle. You okay? Alright, you can usually take a little bit of a screwdriver if you got a little flat if you have a little flat bar. Try this out. What do you think, bud? There's my next piece down in there. See, I'm kind of grinding it out. Yeah. That's what we got right there. So we get to clean it up here in a little bit with some sandpaper. So I'm gonna take my drill bit one more time, make sure we got some good. Okay, what do you think? We're gonna clean that up, make sure it's a nice 1.5 inches. See, I got my little guide here. It's a little tight, so we're gonna have to sand it down and clean it up a little bit to get that 1.5 inches. Carson, looks good. Way to go, buddy. Look at that. Cleans up nice and easy. Get rid of some sawdust. Yeah. Wow, you're a great cleaner. I think I'll hire you. Well, there you go. What do you think? What do you think, buddy? Show us how it works. Yeah, it would be up against something. Show us how it works. There you go. Yeah, nice. I love that. We got some sawdust in there. Yeah, it looks great. Way to go, bud. All right, so the last thing we got, Carson, is what?
Ventilation.
Ventilation. Yes, we need ventilation. So we sealed this box up real nice, but it gets hot down here in Florida and in other places in the summer. So we're gonna add, this is a 3/8 bit. We're gonna add a couple 3/8 holes right on the edge here and do one on the bottom, on the back here, kind of in the middle.
A hole?
Yeah, I'm gonna do like 2 in the back, right here on the bottom. So I'll show you here. Just in the bottom. I'll add some ventilation. I'm gonna do one in the front too. And Carson, you add the 2 on the sides. We're gonna add 2 underneath each little eave thing here, okay? There you go. Put one right about right there. Yep. Perfect. See, you got it perfect on that side. And nail one right there. Yep. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
So Carson, what do you think about going out tomorrow? Let's see if we can do this. What do you think about going out tomorrow and we'll hang these and see if we see any bluebirds?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be real fun, wouldn't it? We can go out early? We go sunrise? Okay. So we're gonna go see if we can find some bluebirds. Take some videos. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Be even neater, guess what, if they found one of these boxes. We'll see. See what happens. Thanks for helping me. You did great, bud. Looks great. I'm really proud of you. Yeah, go ahead.